What's going on, my friends? Chris here. I want to bring you all an update today of Bitcoin. Right now, we're sitting at 37,261. We're up about a 1.5%. What I want to do is look at Bitcoin here on the 12-hour time frame. The reason I want to do that was to get in tight for us, show us a little bit more price action. Because what you can see here is we saw a little bit of rejection at this blue trend line. Okay, so we've been basically having those lower highs. This on the 12-hour time frame. We've been having those lower highs, and we've basically been holding this flat bottom around $31,000 is what we'll call it. Another area we've been looking at in white right here is this macro trend line. And this is very important for us. So basically price is getting squeezed between this blue trend line and this overall upsloping white trend line. So eventually we're going to have some type of move out of here, guys, because this is a very tough situation. Yeah, we could bounce around a little bit longer, but we're eventually going to have to break out through the top here and challenge $41,000, or it's going to be a drop back to the bottom area of this trend line, and that could put us roughly back at around 32,957. You know, this is a tough spot for Bitcoin, guys, and there hasn't been a ton of action along here. And this has been basically since May 17th. We've been moving sideways. I wanted to make more videos for you guys, but I'm not going to waste your time on things. But we have to be prepared for this, because basically if we do end up having an upside breakout, what we want to do is measure our price range. So we're looking at about 29%. So 29% to the upside. So say this is an area here that we do break through. 29% could bring us right up to around where I have my alert and alarm at, and that'd be up to about $49,000. So that's definitely a possibility. The tough thing, though, and why I think a lot of people struggle with taking a trade in this area, is because if we do break out through here, you have this resistance right overhead. Typically, say this resistance wasn't there and you had this straight line, that's what you're looking for. You want to get into trades when you don't have a ton of resistance over your head. Obviously, we know this is Bitcoin, and we could have one of those massive 20% candles in one day that come in at 3 in the morning, you know, to the upside. That's definitely a possibility. But what we want to do is have a plan for both directions, because, guys, if we do have this drop to the downside, so say out of this white trend line here, and we go down roughly 28%, that could put us back around 22,000. And you know how these wicks get really extreme. That could probably take us back down to around that $20,000 territory if we do get a really big break out from here. Okay, if we look at the overall for Bitcoin, this is the main area I'm going to be paying attention to if we were to have a downside break now, because we want to have a plan for both sides, and I feel like we would most likely get a massive bounce off that. And guys, that would definitely be possible because we'd be breaking out of this triangle here, and if it is to the downside, it's also going to be a trend line break of this macro trend line. And sometimes obviously you can get a break and a pullback and see if you can get back in there, but typically when you break something that important, it's a big warning sign. Okay, now we do have some good things going for us. If we get out to the 1-day time frame and take a look here, relative strength is trying to make higher lows down in this area, trying to gain a little bit of strength here. What we need is a higher low and then the pop up through here on heavier volume. And what you'll also see is something that I'm paying attention to. So when you're having these big selling legs to the downside, they're going to be on heavier volume. Okay, do you see all this heavy volume? We got this bounce out of here. It was on weaker volume, and that showed us that most likely we were going to get another move to the downside, and that came on heavy volume. You can see this volume climax down here, and since then, as we've been moving sideways, you can see the volume's been dwindling down, even the sell pressure, and that's kind of what you want to see, is that volume getting smaller. Okay, and we're waiting for that break, the velocity of it, essentially. So do you even see back over in this area, we had heavy volume selling off, but right before we were about to flip, you can see how low volume actually got in this area. We'll look at another one here. So this one here, heavy, and then as it was getting ready to change, you can see the volume dropped off. Guys, I'm a big proponent of volume. I study a lot about it, even from the 1-minute time frame out to the 1 day, and that's where we have so many mixed signals, because this could be, you know, a climax volume bottom here, that we have a local bottom. We've defended it 3 times with longer wicks. Now we had a bullish engulfing candle right here on about average volume. Still want to see heavier volume, but we have all this overhead resistance that we have to be truthful about, right? And if we turn on the moving averages, there's something I want to show you here. So first, if we get to our EMAs, we are trading below our 200 still. which is very important. That also going to correlate with this overhead resistance area of 41,000. So that's why I just want to bring it up to everybody, okay? Next one would be the 100. That's going to be at 45,000 right up in here. And then we have our 50, which is going to be at 43,000. Then our 20, which is going to be at 37.8. Okay, so we have a lot of overhead resistance. I'm going to continue to harp on that until we see a nice clean break out of that on heavy volume. Our technicals, we have at least gotten back to neutral here. So this has been an improvement on the 1 day. We have a 1 sell, 8 neutral, and 2 buy for the oscillator summary, 10 sell, 9 neutral, and 7 buy. Moving averages 9 sell, 1 neutral, and a 5 buy. So that has been improving. Last time we looked at the week, it was neutral, and we're having that again as well. Okay, so trying to gain a little bit of strength there on the relative strength. The next one I wanted to show you, and also let me know, guys, down low, what you're thinking is going to take place here. Are we going to continue to hold this white macro trend line? That's the question I'm going to ask you for today. Let me know down low. You can just say yes, no. And I also want to know, basically, do you think we're going to have our next break? Are we going to be up at 40,000? Are we going to see that first, or are we going to see around that $25,000 to $20,000 first? So if we take a look here, and this is our EMA, our 30 and our 60. So this is going to be our 1 month and our 2 month moving average. And I wanted to show this to you. So basically, guys, whenever you get a green cross on the 1 day time frame, that's what we're on right now, that's a good buying opportunity. When you get a red, it's typically a good selling opportunity. And what I want to show you is, we're never going to nail the top and we're never going to nail the bottom. Jesse Livermore once said that the top eighth of a market and the bottom eighth of a market are where a lot of people lose money. You want to get the meat of the trend. And just to even show you how well this works on the 1 day, if you were just to buy when you got that green cross and you sold out at the red, you would have made 572%. Okay, so these things are significant, and here was our green cross and all the way up through here, and now we had our red, and that was at 53,000. So now we also have to get back up through these moving averages as well. And guys, I know they're lagging indicators, but they act as support and resistance. That's what you have to realize. It's an added resistance level that we didn't need, and now we do have that going against us, right? So these are things that I just wanted to show you here as we continue to chop. Those are our upside targets around 49,000. Downside targets, we're going to look to $25,000 to $20,000. And I think a lot of people would probably step in at the top there at 20,000 if we do get down to that range. Not saying we have to. Okay, this is the cryptocurrency space. Anything can happen. Have a plan. Be ready. God bless each and every one of you. Take care.